Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for another episode. And we're back on the chassis machine. So, let me give you a quick introduction on this vehicle quickly, right? This is a E36 M3 German spec. So, I'm not too sure on the year model. What I do know of the car is that it's a one-owner vehicle. The car has been looked after. It's this customer's baby, right? And there was an issue that happened a few years ago. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was about 8 years ago. Where Iman driving on a road basically, and he hit something on the road. I can't remember if he said that it was roadworks or if it was a rock in the road. And hit the rock or hit whatever, pushed this wheel all the way back, and I'll show you guys the damages now. Pushed the wheel all the way back. I don't know if the car spun out of control, but I remember him telling me that the car fell onto its side at one point, and then basically when the recovery guys got there, they pulled the car back onto the four wheels, right? So it's not a roll car, it's not a smash car. It's definitely not a dog of a car. It's just that he had a small accident. So, car was repaired before. Not too sure exactly where the car went to, and the car was handed over to the customer, and we got called in to come and have a look at the car. On inspection of the vehicle, the first thing I noticed, right, the car was standing on the left. I think the front was facing me. There was a big gap between the headlights, so you've got a lower valence grille there. So between the valence and the bumper, there was a huge gap. Okay, Shaver, if you're watching the video, I'm cutting your call. There was a huge gap between the front bumper and the valence. And that was the first put up, but that could have been lining up. But I've experienced one on the previous German spec that we've done very similarly, and that already was like an eye opener to me to say something is not up here. Anyway, going further through the car, we found alignment issues right through the car, right? So one of which is on the windscreen, on the right hand side of the windscreen. We've actually got a gap. Lucian, see if you're going to be able to come. Yeah. I told him to drop this car a little bit more, please.
Yeah, sure. Let me just move it.
No, it's fine. I don't want to come too low.
Yeah. I want it so that doesn't get on the...
So, alignment, a lot of alignment issues on the vehicle, right? So, again, alignment issues come from two parts. It can come from assembling and not aligning properly, or it can come from a structural issue. You can come down.
No.
Yeah. Or it can come from a structural issue. Okay, that's about fine. So, okay, Rosh, have a look here. So this is the gap that I'm talking about, right? So you can actually stand on the trestle there. So this is the gap that I'm talking about over here, right? So if you look at the car, this is supposed to be a nice sealed gap, right? The E36s don't come with a bulky windscreen rubber. And then if you look at go back to the sunroof lid for me. The sunroof lid is not able to close, right? And that's because it is catching on somewhere on the body, right? Again, that can be of alignment, but that's something very easy to rectify, which I don't think these guys would have missed. So that means that there's really something wrong with the structure of it. Coming down to your gaps on your doors, there's a huge gap here. This door can't close properly. So here, I think in the lighting here, you might not see it, right? But I've got a gap here. I've got a closed gap here on top here. So it looks like we're about 4 millimeters or 5 millimeters here, and about 2 or 3 millimeters or 3 millimeters over here. And if you look at how the door sits, the door is actually like bent, right? And I'm showing you these things here because I'm going to come down to why. Then if you come here to the boot lid of the car, then this is the boot lid closed. But this gap here, you'll never be able to get this gapping right here. And it's all coming down to the root of the car, right? On this side, yeah, I didn't really pick up anything. I think it was just the door. I can't remember if it was the door on this side. I saw it.
There's a huge gap on the door here.
Was it this door here? Okay, but look at the gapping on this door here, right? As to what I just showed you now. This is the gap that we're supposed to have a consistent gap coming right through. Whereas on the driver's side, we've actually got a, like I told you, the 5mm or 6mm on top, and then we got 3 to 4mm at the bottom. My numbers can be exaggerated there, right? I haven't measured it, I'm just speculating it. Then we come to the fender, between the fender and the door. This is not supposed to be like this here, number one. Well, there's another issue on there as well. Yeah. I'll get back to that now. This gap is not supposed to be like this, right? So clearly you can see there's alignment issues on the car. And the more we're digging in, before measuring, the more we dug in, the more we found that it's not a panel fitment issue. Here's the other issue, here comes here. Yeah. So if you can see over this panel flushed onto the door here, right? But it's against the A-pillar, right? It's far against the A-pillar, where it's actually chopping into the paint. But it's flush against the door. So, okay, let's go back up while I'm talking now. Let's take the car back up.
Okay.
So, coming back to all of these gaps that I showed you now. We then started measuring the car out, right? And I think I've still got the diagram digitally. Yeah, I still got the diagram digitally. So what I'll do is I'll put a picture of it now on it. But we were able to measure the car on the floor, right? Just to basically give us. So I'll go back in the video here.
Okay.
So we were able to measure. Sorry, we were able to measure the car basically on with the motor in. Right, we put it on a lift quickly, but we went through basically on undercarriage or measurements that's still with bolts in place and so on like that. And on our measurements back then, which is basically it's not accurate measurements, but it's more a guideline to say, or a guideline just to figure out
is there a distortion between?
Is there a distortion, or what are we actually dealing with first, right?
Yeah.
So it's a starting point of measurements. On that starting point of measurements, we found out that the chassis leg at that specific measurement was 14mm.
Yes.
Back. So this chassis leg here 14mm back. So which is highly possible because we know that he hit the pot, the rock or the bottle. It wasn't a bottle, it was rock. He hit that and basically pulled the leg back, right? But he hit it quite hard. And then we found that the car, either left or right, had moved about. We measured 17mm, right? That's on the first diagram.
Yeah.
So now, after about 3 days of jigging the car, that's the reality of it. It's cost. It's about 3 days of jigging the car, right? Because these jigs are not the same as the E30 jigs. 3 days of jigging the car and measuring out and trying to get references out and using the diagrams again, right? So the diagrams are basically our finalizing points or our reference points of tolerances to work within. So we found out that, okay, Atul, you want to take over from here? Then I'll take over again afterwards.
Okay, so basically what had happened to the car in the accident is that the chassis leg has moved backwards, but obviously in a way it moved backwards, it sort of bowed, right? So that's a common thing because it's hit.
So it's like a crumble zone.
Yeah, so at the weak point, it actually moved up like this. And if you look at it there, you'll actually see it on that firewall section there.
So we're talking about this then, yeah.
You can see that that there's firstly distorted. You can see the distance between the firewall and this here. You can actually see this cross member move like that. So this whole thing is actually moved up like that, right? In the so doing, you can say this section is actually higher than that section, right?
Yeah.
With this whole section being pulled that way, this car, when we now measure it up finally with the charts and everything, we have. I'm trying to bring the chart out quickly. Yeah.
Okay. So we got basically with our measurements.
So at this particular point here, where the cross member fits on, we're 10mm in that direction.
Okay.
So you must know everything had pulled with the accident on that side. It's pulled 10mm that way, and it's actually gone. For the length of it is 21mm.
So it's 21mm back as to our 14mm that we measured.
Because now we did the actual proper from the back to the front. We've done proper measurements. So it's 21mm that way, 10 millimeters pushed out that way. So it means that the car is actually skew like that.
But it's not both legs. That leg must have moved as well.
It must have moved, yeah. We just did the prelim.
pulled.
We did the prelim measurements. Now we're going to do the final one when we start. We just to get an idea how the distortion has occurred on the car, which way it's moved and everything. We just want to have a look at it, see where the damage is, the way the damage is, so we know how much to strip, where to go further on. So now we've got all that in place because we know exactly which way the car is now bent. But now we will do our final proper measurements with the laser, get the levels. See, this one maybe gone about 10 millimeters up. That one needs to go 5 millimeters. That will be our final check.
And then we're going to do a test fit basically again on here. So with the same bonnet. Now the bonnet is also bent. Remember, the bonnet
couldn't even close properly. I mean, it had a huge gap.
It couldn't close properly. And even to open that bonnet, just the release, or the catch and release, couldn't release. It just hooked all the time.
So on the top here, we basically got 8 millimeters out, going out that way.
So we're 8 on top, bottom
10 this way, 21 backwards. So it basically all moved in that direction. So it's sort of in that direction.
Okay, so in theory now, right? What the car moved this way here, that explains our gapping here.
Yeah.
So that explains the gapping here, right?
Yes.
That explains why we got a gap on the door as well.
Yeah.
There now. So what also tells me that this chassis like moved
this way
is that I can see the gap between the fender and the door.
So it's pulled it.
So it's split it basically, right? That's how you got a bigger gap there.
Gap on that side. Yeah.
That's also a reason why we have the sunroof not closing properly.
Because it's pushed that A-pillar upwards, and that could have an alignment issue with the sunroof
and the A-pillar
and the pillar itself here. Yeah.
Right? And then we need to still figure out what is going on the boot.
On the boot.
Or if we pull here, does the boot relax itself and come back into position?
Not really. It just depends on, like you said, the car flipped on its side. It could be that could be secondary damage.
Maybe fender damage here, and then
when he hits it off, and you said it flipped on its side or something, that could be secondary damage.
Okay.
Not relating to this. If it had a full frontal and where the car suddenly stopped, and what happens normally, then the car flips up and then comes down with a hard because all that force, the car hits down and it actually bends. So sometimes the rear end bends.
Okay.
With that type of force, because there's a sudden, that force, like you're going at 120 or even 150 kilometers. You know what force you're putting through?
If you look at
1.5 ton, 2 tons of
no, but if you look at testing, right? I'm just talking normal vehicle testing.
Yes.
At 60 and 80 k's, it's actually fast.
Yes.
There's actually an impact zone from there.
And then if you look at those videos where they do those impact tests, you see the car actually lifting. When it hits a solid wall or hits a barrier, it lifts and it comes down. So with that thing, it actually bends like that. So a lot of times they sometimes bend at the back.
So we need to check that basically on the Z-axis.
Most probably it didn't happen just because you must remember it was just the wheel that was hit. We're talking when you're hitting another vehicle, you're hitting a solid structure.
So this year I think is more structural. Not
secondary
structural.
Damage with the car flipping over.
It's mostly on the shell, I think.
Yeah.
So that we'll get to that point when we start lining up. That's on the bootlet side of it. The one thing we just want to show you here now quickly is the crumble zones here, right? So this is, if you have a look at, this is the area I'm talking about here now. So you can see that there's a huge kink in here, right? So there is some sort of indent in the chassis leg, which you can see on the left hand side here, but it's a subtle indent.
Yeah.
And if you look on the right hand side, you can actually see a crumble zone.
You'll actually see on the outer side of the chassis leg here. You'll actually see the crease. You see that crease?
Ah, yes.
You see here's a round circle, but you can see the crease running in here. See all these creases here. That's where everything pushed in. Okay,
so this is another part of the video that I needed to still come to, but we're here now already. Solution, let's go through this here now.
Okay.
Solution, let's go through this here now.
You can come in a bit deeper, Dave.
So, see, I'm gonna say it straight out here.
Yeah.
I don't know what cocky going on here. No,
but that is terrible work.
Look, I understand welding, neat welds and that, but I mean, fuck. Anyway, it's a hard swap because it's an iconic car, right? Give it its due. If you're gonna work on the car like this, give it its freaking due. It's as simple as that, guys. So when I looked at it first, obviously the fender liner is on, right? Here's another key over here. The fender liners were on. So I just got the gist of this part here. I got the gist, and you know that was stupid. We should have put, when you put the other cap on the left, now, I should have just bloody stripped it. All this cut here, I did not see. And you know what's the thing? If you look at where this guy is welded, right? That's the reason why this freaking wheel is sitting back. It's because I guarantee you that this the control arm push position is totally wrong. I guarantee you that.
You see what actually happens is if this chassis moves like this. Remember, this thing's all moved back with all this crease here. That all is pushed backwards. Obviously, it's going to bring the whole wall, the wheel backwards. You can see this. So all this needed to be pulled straight.
But look at this weld here on the chassis, on the.
Yes, they've cut and opened.
I think you know how many measurements we had to go through on the brown car. Remember?
Yes.
We had to do a chassis leg replacement there, right?
Yeah.
It took you a whole day basically just to get measurements right and get it tacked in. Never mind welded in.
Exactly.
Tacked in.
Yeah.
Right, and it was measure, and I guarantee you, that's the reason why. Yeah, I think I'm right here, man. That's the reason why on this side here they're using basically an off-centered bush, and there's a centered bush on that side there because they try to manipulate the wheel and push it forward, push the caster basically forward. Anyway, you know, if we really start digging it and trying to theorize this whole thing here, right, we'll sit here the whole day trying to get our own theory of what exactly happened. Yeah. So what we're trying to get to now is the solution of how to fix it. So I'm gonna break this here I'm gonna break this whole project up into a good few sequences because I guarantee you now that we're gonna find more cack under.
We're gonna have to dig. We're gonna have to actually take out that dashboard. We're gonna have to strip the whole car in front. I'm telling you, that's basically because
but the brake booster must come off. The firewall mats have to come off.
Yes, everything.
And I was under the assumption, Lucian, if you go on top here, look on the seam on the shock tower. Right, I was under the assumption that's the only issue there, and you know we'll be able to get away with still using the exact same shock tower. But I don't think we're going to be able to use the shock tower. I think we're going to have to do a shock tower replacement or pull it off.
To get this car looking to its almost original look and whatever, as you said, it's an iconic car. We must do a replacement here.
Yeah.
We cannot have that type of damage left behind here. And where somebody worked so terrible on the panel.
And that floorboard, yeah. This whole floorboard, yeah. This whole area.
But even if it wasn't an iconic car, I mean, we can never leave this.
No, 100%. I was actually wrong by saying just an iconic car. So it doesn't mean it's an iconic car. It must be done properly.
Yes.
But you know how much of fabrication is actually needed here?
No, so we're going to replace original section here. We're not going to fabricate this. This we'll replace this whole.
I actually think we'll fabricate this here. Okay, but we'll figure it out. There's too many
panels in there.
Yeah, but that's the reason why I'm saying it. Okay, but anyway, we'll figure it out. We'll find a solution to it. Yes. Okay, so look, our goal. Okay, so the guy's gonna have to get painted afterwards again, right? There's a lot of crap going on this paint here. Let's not even get into the paint at all. I'm not gonna get into the paint. There's a lot of crap happening on the paint, and look, each to his own. I'm not knocking anybody down or anything of the sort, but I'm saying again, it's an M3. Give it its respect, give it its due. So our second part will be of us pulling the car straight, basically. Right, we'll go through measurements.
Yes.
And maybe the second part will be pulling it straight, and then afterwards we're going to go into fabrication. Then it'll come off the jig, go into fabrication, and then only into paint stripping at all.
No, definitely. We first have to get our first goal. We're going to have the body 100% straight, panel all aligning, and
then take it back down again.
Yes.
Right. So suspension on everything, on panels all on, lined up, headlights, everything on.
Everything fitted. Yeah.
Then strip back down again once we sign off. Strip back down again. Then it goes into fabrication. From once done in fabrication, then it can only go into bodywork. Yeah. Then we only start paint stripping the car.
Yes.
Okay, then on the paint strip on this car, what we're doing is we're not masking off anyway. We're taking off windows. We're taking off, so that'll be for future videos. But that's windows coming off, bearings coming off. There is clips missing there. You can see the Sika flex on the side there. So it's better we take all the crap off. Let's get it back to original. we're gonna detail the car on the undercarriage as well. So we're not doing a restoration on the car, but the car is very
Make
clean.
it look as what it's supposed
It
to
is
be.
clean. It's just dirty, but it's a clean car. Give it a good clean up and basically just give it back its life again.
Yeah. Exactly. It's sad to see something.
So Cosmos Black, Cosmos Swart,
Yeah.
Metallic.
Schwarz metallic.
Schwarz Metallic. Alright guys. Something different as to the E30s that we're doing all the time. You always said you like E36s, there's
Yes.
your E36.
I love the E36, but a much more stronger car than
No,
the
guaranteed.
E30 anyway.
Guaranteed.
Much more harder to work with.
Guaranteed.
But yeah,
So guys,
we'll get it done.
let's go through this journey. I'm gonna try and document this one as much as I can, right? If it's okay with you.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna try and document it as much as I can with whatever time we have, and let's get the car as straight as possible. Let's get this car back into society. German specs are becoming scarce, right? There is a handful running around, but this is not a car. E30 IS, you can still see IS every day. That's the reality of it.
Yeah, you don't see much of
You
it.
don't see these cars every day, and you don't see clean cars every day.
No.
So if we're able to get this car looking clean, fresh, and getting a smile back onto that owner's face, I think we've accomplished something.
The big downfall with this cars was the interiors. Interiors used to crack up, the door panels.
Yeah, the door panels and they like to come off.
Window.
We'll actually do a
stuff.
video on the inside of the car, and you'll see the inside of this car is actually neat. This car is neat. Right, so I think it's got Titan grey interior in it. So black with Titan grey interior. I would like to see this car back on the road again.
Looking nice and fresh, yeah.
So a lot of the things here, come here quickly, Lucian. I just want to show one of the reasons why I'm choosing to why I said I would like to repaint this car. But we're not going to get too far deep into the paint, but I don't know if you're able to pick up these ripples in the paint. Right? Can you see it?
Yeah.
So, right, there's issues on the car. There's waves on the car. There's production lines in the car. Never mind about the buffing and all of that crap, but the prep in this car is all wrong. The spray over the bumpers here, you got matte over here, you got gloss over here. Okay, so I don't want to get. I might sound like I'm bad mouthing someone, but I'm not doing that. I'm
Just trying to get the car back to its.
Yeah, and I'm stating the work that we're gonna take on here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, let me know. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you guys think on this here. Let's start cracking it.
Yep.
I know they got their hands full.
Yep.
So let's see how we can get this car straight. Let's get it aligned. So let's do the final video on alignment. Then I think that'll be a good video.
No problem.
Because then we got the car aligned, we got all the gaps sorted out, we know we can sign that off and we can move on. Let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers, guys.
All right, cheers.